Hello, Ken Obasi here again. How you doing? Of course, hope everybody's doing fine. Um, it's as I always say is we're going through some uh, times that are about change. About transformation. And unless we have that spirit, that courage, or whatever you want to call it, inside, in order to make some changes in terms of how we think and all of that, then it's going to be difficult. If you're still holding on to the way things were in the past and all of that, then I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. We're going through Mercury retrograde, so it's just anything. Things are just chaotic, and through Mercury retrograde, and things dealing with technology and all of that. You have to be careful. It's just stuff will mess up and everything. And also, we recently we're getting ready to go through a blood moon. Which could be pretty chaotic too. Yeah, right now it's just kind of like a time to kind of just slow down and just take it easy and not try to do too much, and not try to get into too many things, and not think too hard or whatever. Try to get into a state of meditation, get some rest, get some sleep, do the things that you need to in order to rest your mind and elevate that spirit. So again, as I always do, I do what you might say, a reading of the energies and the things that are happening around us, and and I usually do this through reading of the tarots, the Orisha tarot. And first card that I picked here is Yemaya, or Yamaya, which is, which we see is a woman appears from amongst the waves, who's beautiful, who possess spiritual and also material riches. Since the sea is one of the wealthiest and largest kingdoms, covering more than 70% of the world's surface, she's almost dancing with a subtle bending of her arms. She seems to be surrounded by sweet melodies springing from her own self. A hand carries a comb made of sea oysters, which she uses to comb her hair before a mirror, made of small shells held by her other hand. Her crown also is made of silver, or metal, and snail shells, which with starfish in the middle. A necklace of the same metal ending in a charm representing a fish, and it inhabits her territory. The crown is decorated with pearls as drops of her pure element, which gives her a princess-like quality. She's kneeling on a seashell. Her kingdom is one of the major ones for the reasons given above, but also because this energy comes from ancient times at the beginning, and for many thousands of millions of years there were only masses of water over the face of the earth. It could be said, therefore, that life had its origins there. That is why we consider Yemaya as the mother of all Orishas, save for a few whose mother would be Nana, or which is a more ancestral Yemaya. But what happened to the seawater that is missing nowadays? Well, nothing is lost, everything is transformed as established by a law of the conservation of energy. Energy cannot disappear, even in its radioactive changes, which result in very small electrons. Energy is inside everything. Some Indians call it Manatu, or the spirit of things. And Einstein proved that even matter is energy. Coming back to the Orisha of the salt water, in ancient times, her energy presided over Ogun River, the Ogun River in Africa, which has nothing to do with the Orisha of the same name. The history of Orisha has mostly been told by word of mouth. States that water sprang from her bosom, which explains her voluptuousness, to create all other saints. She has several syncretisms. The Lady of Candles in Brazil, Spanish-speaking South America, Stella Maris, the Virgin of Sailors, fishermen in the Caribbean, and North America with Our Lady of the Roll. And at the end of the year, her followers throw flowers into the sea as a sign of gratitude. A sign of gratitude for the past months, and requesting the protection for the coming year. The greatest festivities, however, are held on February the 2nd, when small and usually light blue boats can be seen sailing in the sea, decorated with flowers, candles, perfume, gifts for the queen of the sea. So we're talking about Yemaya, and she's generous in her decisions and thoughts. Her sons, the medium that embody her, have elegant, undulating, powerful, and acoustically silent movements, the same as the sea. Her colors are in the blue range, from the lightest to the darkest, and also comprising of a silvery blue. One of her tools is the fan, called a bebe, which is made of silver and a silvery metal, or any metal carrying her colors and symbols. She is one of the most beloved and respected Orishas, together with the Obzala or Obatala. And since she is the mother of all, therefore really related to maternity, attribute she shares with Oshun. It would perhaps be better to enlarge a little of this point. Pregnancy for the former African people meant a strong limitation of their sexual activity, because they believed that the baby would otherwise suffer while in the womb, and at the same time of birth, that the mother would have very little milk to feed him. Everything impure was avoided at the childbirth. Women's menstruating, alcohol, aggressive people, etc. And the environment was made energy safe by prayer and natural herbs for use for purification of our medicinal purposes, not only for the mother and the child, but also women acting as midwives were thus protected and sheltered. The mother's behavior, theft, unfaithfulness, nervousness, stress, bad habits, etc., could also represent an obstacle to giving birth. The newborn baby umbilical cord, fingernails, placenta, and that sheltered him, or items, and the parents had to look after and keep devotedly, since they represented that being generally and energetically, as well as his personal unique nature with the same information for formation characteristics. These items had to be buried under the shrub or the tree without thorns, which reflect pain and difficulties. So the plant would grow healthy, strong, and fruitful. This card represents a respectable woman, an affectionate mother, a motherhood, pregnancy, childbirth, marriage, engagement, a dignified figure, proud of her position and responsible for her duties and functions, hypersensitivity to physical pain and sentimentality. This card also governs the female erogenous zones and the reproductive system. And it also represents the blood, the urological systems, wealth and material comfort. A person who enjoys honor and good life and luxuries, but also falling into frivolity, since her and he or she possesses highly developed social and humanitarian principles, a prosperous undertaking. Yeah, so it's basically represents wealth and doing what's right and leveling up and nurturing. It's just that one of the things I get out of this is a spirit of nurturing, and making sure that everything is really in its place, and just kind of like a certain discipline of keeping things going. It's like one of the things that we kind of like missing generally in our society. It's just that because we kind of like want everything instantly, and sometimes we don't find time to practice the effort of nurturing and building something, and organically putting things together so things can grow right. Next card here is Moon, and and we're really dealing with the Moon. Just like we got a blood moon coming up, and kind of the Moon kind of has power over our emotions. The Moon has this magnetic influence over water and things that deal with fluidity. A quarter moon has been chosen for this card with a schematic and geometrical fixed, immovable figure that the darkest part represents what was worn away, while the white part represents the little light the moon reflects on the earth. Tears, pain, run down from the diamond-shaped tips. Three summits of stone and earth, the material, point towards the sky. The spiritual is asking for a chance of opportunity for salvation. There follows an expanse of snow-covered terrain, setting a parameter, the limit of indifference. The limit of indifference. In the center, a spade pierces a bleeding heart, annihilation of illusions and treason. Esoterically, the moon is negative, with no poetic or romantic sense. In principle, she is feminine and yin, but the identification as a last quarter moon She represents the loss of values and the loss of strength, And there was a movie out called Moonfall. I wanted to see. I haven't seen that movie, but it looked like it came out and was at the theaters for a minute, and then it was gone. And it was just something about that was kind of strange to me. But yeah, this moon, like the sun, the moon has been revered since the beginning of time by Egyptians who called her Isis. Isis loved her husband and Osiris so much that after her brother Seth, the Egyptian king locked him in a chest, which was designed to shape Osiris to hold him only, and threw him into the Nile. Isis succeeded into resuscitating him by using her magical formulas. The Phoenicians called her Astarte, the goddess of love and fecundity. Can't pronounce that word. The Yoruba do not consider her as Orisha, but realize her importance and the relationship to humanity. She exerts an influence on birth and psychic abilities. The Yoruba relate to her as to the feminine, thus a symbol of the full moon with Yemaya, and everything related to her nature. For magicians, a full moon may be either good or bad because both the positive and negative poles are contained in it. The most developed countries in technological and social terms have studied the moon, and particularly regarding how this satellite of the Earth influences tides, women in labor, and the human nervous system, which is altered in many people during the full phase. This is confirmed by a great number of suicides, murders, rapes, robberies, etc. People just going crazy, and which occurred with the full moon. This is to say that she has a great power over human behavior. Even nowadays, we refer to a highly strung or ill-tempered person as a lunatic. For the esoteric in general, the last quarter moon is far from having the benevolent character according to it by poets or sought by lovers. Rather, the moon is in its crescent quarter and is considered in general as the great benefactor of all things. This card represents sadness, depression, grief, sorrow, hidden enemies, Lilith, the dark side of the moon, the negative changes have a spiritual influence, torture, abduction, loss of freedom, nervousness, nervous system imbalance that could lead to madness, terror, uncontrollable fear, slander. It may also mean alcohol or drug abuse, or any kind of harmful or highly detrimental dependence. So, right now, we just need to be careful because we are really going through what you might say a strong moon influence. And with the blood moon coming up or whatnot, and Mercury retrograde doesn't help or anything like that. It's just that, it's just that we just, as I was saying before, just kind of like need to kind of slow down and get a little meditation in, and it's just that get rest and all of that, So, and basically when I do this, I try to stay away from politics and stay away from all kind of things or whatnot, because I'm by doing these readings, you can take whatever energies that have been implicated, through the reading and whatnot, and apply it to what is happening in the environment, So, it's, this is a dolphin. This is Ace of Water. Dolphin symbolizes spirituality. The fish symbolizes Christianity in the West and good fortune or luck in the East. Among the ancient people, especially the Greeks, who deemed that this animal belonged to Apollo, without disregarding the fact that it swam in the water governed by Poseidon. This animal was taken as something sacred. The belief was also shared by philosophers and poets, some whom held that if the dolphin was disturbed, the gods of Olympus would be disturbed. So of course the dolphin is a very intelligent creature, animal. There comes a new stage in which your childhood experience is present, and a person who makes a balance between past and present will protect a future of love. Feelings prevail without mental or psychic confusion. Times of great beauty and joy. So it's just that there comes a new stage in which your childhood experience is present, and a person who makes a balance, a balanced between past and present will project a future of love. So it's about balance, it's about being in the right mind, being not way over there and into something that is not really part of who you are, or not part of what's in your heart, or just to be influenced by something outside. The two of fire, a lion and a lioness, are guarding the entrance of a temple. The lioness is on the left side and representing feelings, and the lion is on the right, relating to actions or deeds. Behind them is a temple belonging to no particular religion, but devoted to true thinking or freedom, to act in the world of reason. In many parts of the world, particularly in the East, it is usual to see animals guarding the entrance of a village, a house, a city, or a temple. They create an energy field like any photoelectric cell. We're talking about energy fields. This need to join forces for mutual understanding and protection. It's very important. Companionship in a new enterprise, a job, the joining of feelings compared to our deeds expresses a logical equivalent and rational attitude. If you put these principles into practice, your dominion and your achievement will increase. Whoever crosses the entrance may also cross different frontiers. So you notice that this green door, that's the only real color in the card, and it's just that. But hey, it's just about working together, husband and wife, whoever your partner is, it's just that it helps to be able to work with somebody, work together and do things together and share your talents or whatever the talents are, and don't be envious of anybody else's talent and say, hey, this is what I need, And the message from the water, a huge oyster with a mermaid inside. The mermaid is in a large, eloquent position, showing her to be the sort of water princess, or her head. On her head, the mermaid wears a small crown. With it represents a certain aristocratic level, with 5 stones encrusted in it. Since 5 of the senses, 5 fingers on the hand, 5 continents along which can be traveled through the water. Excuse me. With her right hand, and the hand with which we normally point to objects, makes gestures and movements to give instructions, etc. She holds and grabs the reins with which she indicates the course of 2 seahorses. In this case, shape of the seahorse is mixed with the features of a regular horse. One of the seahorses is white with black details in a harness, while the other one is black but white details in a harness. This speaks of the search for perfect balance or strength. A philosophical comparison could be made if we refer to the myth described in Plato's Phaedrus, in which he tells us that the psyche is made up of 3 parts, namely the rational located in the head, the emotional located in the chest, and the apprentive related to the concuspid, I cannot pronounce that word, located in the ventral zone. The sight travels in a coach drawn by 2 horses, a white and docile one, emotional sight, and the black, rebellious one, appetitive sight. They are driven by a coachman who represents the balance of strength and rational sight. Thus, the sight goes through the eternal, perfect world inhabited by ideas or forms to the sensible world, even if the coachman is helped by a white horse. When the black horse rears, then the coachman cannot prevent the coach from turning over. As a consequence, the sight no longer remembers what has been seen in the world of ideas and inhabits the body. Kind of sounds a little bit like reincarnation. Our appetitive sight, which is rebellious and represents the weight of our material desires, can only be dominated through a hard struggle using the power of reason together. This card represents a triumphant victory, maximizing pleasure and realizing that you were able to defeat the difficulties, either with or without the help of others, material and energetic factors on any level of interpretation. You have resorted to your integrity as a thinking and rational being and defeated base desires and interests as a way to reach your proposed aim. As a result, your plans came true. All this may be hard at the beginning, but not at all unpleasant. So that's what this card is about here, and salamanders. I don't know if you can see salamanders. These animals govern the psychological functions, collaborating in the process of digestion and body temperature. They provide drive and courage as well as bravery and justice. This card is about or it represents a man or a woman in his or her 40s, or with much experience in life, who fights for ideals and who is a great thinker, strategist, army officer or ruler. His or her will is strong. He or she is dynamic and optimistic, as well as realistic and rational. When appearing with other cards that are unfavorable, this card warns about psychological disorders, imbalance, and slow metabolism. So basically, and a lot of times I do read a lot of stuff from the Orisha book, because I'm learning and learning about what these cards are and what they represent, and the Orisha Tarot is a very, very, very deep divination system, or whatever, and but it's very metaphysical. It gets deep into the psychic, and hey, it's a wonderful way to interpret the energies of things that are going on in our world, in our environment and things of that nature, But well, I just want to thank everybody, for like listening to me and whatnot. I hope that you are able to pick up something from what I read and whatever, But basically, from my interpretation, it's just that we're in times where we need balance, we need rest, we need meditation. There are all types of distractions that are taking place simultaneously. There's so much crazy stuff, that my head can't even wrap around it or whatever. But it's it's not a good time to be trying to be what you're not, or to overstep in a sense, and just relax, just kind of just chill out, just take your time, and don't. And it's not a great time to make real great decisions. It's just a time to it's just to deal with your creativity, strategize, and things of that nature, and and from there, just take one step at a time. So this is Kenobasu Leslie, and until next time, today is Saturday.